I am extremely nervous to be here. Give me a minute.
Oh, you human being. Must not be that far off because here you are.
Here I am. I had a question that has been, I've been thinking about recently, about relationships, and I guess sometimes I don't know when I should factor in my human qualities and just calm down sometimes into trying to understand whether something is fun or something feels not fun. And
well, if it's that close, it doesn't matter. We think you have more discernment than you're describing here, though.
Yeah, so I've been married twice. Married very young the first time, a bit traumatizing. Waited quite a while to get married again and ended in divorce.
Do you think that story serves you?
No, I'm over it.
You're not really over it, or you wouldn't be talking about it. And we're just going to play with you a little bit. It's going to feel like we're beating you up, but we're really not. Well, just a little bit. We're going to ask this of all of you as you come forward. Does this particular explanation, and we understand why you're offering it, what influence is it likely to put you under? The influence of true guidance or the influence of things not going well for you? We know you do it with each other. You want to tell each other about yourselves, which is just like saying, hello, I'm really happy to meet you. But instead of meeting you in my tuned-in state, which is possible because here we just met, I instead choose to tell you all the things I've lived through before this meeting. And in the process of doing that, I'm going to diminish myself to something so much less than we potentially have here together. And we don't think that's a very good idea, do you?
No.
So does anything that's ever happened before matter in a negative sense, or did all of it help you to add clarity to what you want? Isn't your relationship vortex in a better position than it's ever been in before? And isn't that something worth appreciating of everything that came before rather than criticizing?
Yes.
Yeah. So here you are, all fresh and new, with this bright, beautiful vortex that has all kinds of relationship components in it. So what conversation are you wanting to have right now with us to enhance your relationship with that? See what we're getting at?
Yes. So my question is, how do I have fun in relationships with just treating them as casual? Because when people say, just have fun, just date, I tend to get a little possessive. And then it all of a sudden doesn't feel so fun anymore. And I feel like, okay, is this
Well, you just
human
answered
nature?
your own question. I had fun and then I didn't. So keep doing the things that are fun and stop doing the things that aren't. So I tend to get a little possessive. What you're saying there is, when I see something that I like, then I fixate on it. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging positive aspects of someone and imagining those positive aspects intertwining with you. That's really a wonderful thing to do. And if that is what you were doing, then you would feel enlivened by the relationship and it would continue to be fun. But if you are acknowledging those positive aspects and then, because you're still under the influence of past relationships, you're imagining them going away, that possessiveness is a feeling of loss. It's lack consciousness. And when you do that, then it's not fun. But it's not about this relationship. It's about what you're doing to this relationship right now based upon other relationships. Helpful?
Yes.
It's pretty obvious, isn't it, when you're not standing in the middle of it, you see? So would you say when you get possessive, here's a good question for you. When you feel possessive, is it because you really don't like this person or because you really like this person?
I really like them.
So could you use different words? Rather than saying I'm possessive, why not say I'm complimentary? I'm attracted to this. I'm enlivened by this. I'm recognizing positive aspects here. I and my inner being are acknowledging that something that I'm seeing here really matches what's in my vortex. I'm not possessive, I'm harmonic. I'm not possessive, I'm aligning. I'm not possessive, I'm coming into my full power. But the reason you call it possessive is because you're stepping out of your full power and you are imagining loss or lack. Well, just don't do that. How would you know if you didn't have both sides of that equation? So now your work is just to deliberately tune yourself with a little bit more deliberate intent, yes? There's nothing that will drive someone away faster than someone saying to them or implying it or even just radiating it vibrationally, "You're important to my happiness, and if you go away, I'll be sad." Because it makes them want to run screaming into the woods.
And that's what happens on my end when somebody acts like that with me. It feels like I have a big job to keep them happy, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, this was supposed to be light and fun.
So you understand what it's like when it happens to you.
That's why I'm in such a split feeling of, where do I go with this whole, and then,
Well, here's what we would do if we were standing in your physical shoes. We would acknowledge to ourselves really on a regular basis that right here, right now, whatever's going on in this relationship, the time that you are together with someone, that your intention is to be as much in alignment as you can and see as many positive aspects in yourself and in the other as you can find. Let it be a game of alignment first and foremost, and then just watch what happens. Because here's the thing, if you're really tuned into who you are, you're not going to attract someone who can't stay there in instability. But if you are up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, you're going to attract somebody who's up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Then it's just an exhausting relationship. So you've got to be the steady one because you can't ask anybody else to be it. Now, sometimes you all have the good fortune of meeting someone else who is a steady one. And when you meet someone who's a steady one, who no matter what you do, they remain steady, you're really attracted to that because your dominant desire is to be tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And when they stay that way, it's easier for you to stay that way. But don't assign that responsibility to anybody else. You be that one. You be that one, which means you're going to have a good time no matter what they're doing. You're going to feel good because you're going to have clarity. And don't you want clarity? In clarity, when you are in a state of clarity, you can see down the road. You can feel how much of this relationship, as it is in the state of becoming, is satisfying the majority of intentions that are in your vibrational reality. It's really a delicious thing to be all tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and to have such clarity that you can feel almost from the beginning of an encounter with anyone, whether it fits or whether it doesn't. And if it doesn't, then don't pursue it. There's no point in trying to teach someone how to get into alignment who has been practicing not being in alignment. And of course, as uplifters, you want to influence as many as you can into alignment, but just don't let it be everybody that you date. It's so tiring. Put your shingle out. I'm in alignment, I'll teach you there. I'll coach you into alignment and we'll have fun. One day, a woman sat in the hot seat and she was talking about her son. And she said, "Abraham, please give me some words that I can give to my son so that he can get a mate." And we said, we don't think it's a good idea if he gets a mate right now. And she was shocked because she thought the absence of a mate was his problem. We said, if he gets a mate right now, she will be just like he is. She will be depressed and she won't have any money either. And she will be bored and sometimes hostile, and they'll just bang around together and then they'll go their separate ways. And this mother said, "Oh, that's what's been happening." And we said, what you want to do before you begin pursuing those impulses, because those impulses come, in other words, you can be under the influence of loneliness and have an impulse to go find a partner. Not a good idea. Or you can be under the influence of alignment and have an impulse to find a partner. Much better place to be coming from, yes?
I felt that way. I felt like I was doing pretty good on my own. I wasn't feeling that.
All right, now is this story going to put you under this influence or this influence? Yeah, probably don't want to tell that story. Right? There's this wanting to explain where I am that holds you right there. I'd like to explain to everyone how I've been doing and where I am. And we say, then get used to where you are, because that's where you're staying. If that's what's coming out of your mouth all the time, then nothing else can change.
So just leave when it's not fun anymore.
Yeah, at the very beginning of it not being fun. But you know where that beginning is? Before you even meet the person. That's what we just encouraged you to do. Leave that story before it wasn't fun. Leave that conversation before it isn't fun. Leave the retelling of this story and the recounting of this relationship. Leave it all. Because you know what? When you tune into who you really are, you change the past. Because when you perceive through the eyes of Source, you see every bit of that past as your advantage because it was growing your vortex. So you don't feel bad about any of those fractured relationships or relationships that blew up because you know that every one of them helped you to realize who you are and what you want, and you're appreciative of every one of those. Yeah. Enough?
Yes.
Really good. Thank you. Really good.